Hello everyone, I'm Shannon Cantner and you're watching a special CMSD TV program dedicated to the Cleveland Indians. It was an exciting season. It went all the way to Game 7, and while they might not have won the World Series, they're still champions to all the students and educators all across the district. The Cleveland Indians help teach students about teamwork and America's favorite pastime. Many classrooms used the World Series as a way to learn about the history of baseball and talk about sports figures like Babe Ruth and Jackie Robinson. So let's start by taking a look back all the way to just before Game 1 of the World Series, when the MLB brought some Cleveland Indians icons to Luis Munoz Marin, where everyone had a ball. They weren't even born yet the last time the Indians were in the World Series, but scholars at Luis Munoz Marin stepped up to the plate with Indians of past and present to help officially begin the 2016 World Series. The MLB hosted its Play Ball event in the school's gym just hours before Game 1 in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland and the national organization. The MLB commissioner, Slider, the Indians mascot, and a big game of wiffle ball made it an event to remember.
I can't tell you how pleased I am to be here in Cleveland at the beginning of what's going to be a great World Series, Cleveland Indians and the Chicago Cubs. Most important, we have one current and a bunch of former Major League players here with us today, and they're going to give you a chance to interact with what I think is the greatest game in the world, baseball. So I hope you kids have fun this afternoon.
This is amazing to be the school that's picked to host the World Series kickoff. The actual commissioner of MLB was here. It was an amazing experience, and the kids loved it. Kids are coming up hugging me like, this is so great, this is so cool, and I was like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I'm glad that our scholars here at Marin had the chance to have the experience.
You know, for more than 30 years, the Cleveland Indians have supported Boys and Girls Clubs of Cleveland with financial support, with tickets, with game experiences, even opening up their club to make it a dental clinic for oral health the last 3 years. So they not only think about you as a child, they think about your health, and they think about your experience. And I would like us to give everybody from the Indians a big thank you.
This is really, really a special time for here in Cleveland, but it's great that we can stop and deal with what was maybe more important. That is what Major League Baseball does with its play ball program, getting young people like you out moving around and playing the great game of baseball, and doing it with our great partners, the Boys and Girls Club.
We got to meet a whole bunch of cool young players and old players, and we got a lot of signatures, and we got to meet the big fuzzy dude, Slider. It was so cool. And it was my first time playing this game or baseball. I never played baseball before.
I mean, this is exciting. First of all, Cleveland, back in the World Series. It's been 19 years, and I was fortunate to be on that last team that was in the World Series, so it brings back a lot of memories for me. But then you come here, the Play Ball initiative by Major League Baseball is so very important to what they do here in the inner cities, and you can feel the buzz. Kids are excited, the adults are excited, the former players, the current players that are here are excited. It's just it's a great time, and what's going on in this city this entire season, from the Cavs, the RNC, everything that's been going right for Cleveland, and here it is, another big opportunity once again.
Do you think they're going to win?
Yes, they are.
All of the students received a World Series hat and play ball equipment. Reporting from Progressive Field, Shannon Cantner, CMSD TV. The kids do get particularly excited for Slider the mascot, but they're also big fans of a certain pitcher who hasn't even been able to play since mid-September after getting injured. But a broken hand couldn't stop Carlos Carrasco from pitching in at the school. He read books to the students in Spanish and gave the 8th graders a pep talk about education. Check it out.
¿Y quién es este? Jorge? He is very adamant about doing literacy outreach, especially with the Hispanic and Latino community. So he really enjoys coming to Luis Munoz Marin. We do have a very high population of Hispanic Latino students. So even when he comes, he does a lot of work in English and in Spanish, as he did today.
Jorge estaba muy curioso. You have to finish your school, everything, so you can go work, and that you can practice everything you learn in school.
He was signing books with one hand and everything, so it was really cool. He did a 500 book donation, So he took some books to classrooms. He did a read aloud with first grade and with second grade. And then he did kind of like a mentoring / pep talk with our 8th grade scholars. I think when I look at the 1st and 2nd grade, like just being a little bit more interested in reading now because, you know, he's reading with us. And when I think about the 8th grade, one of the things he's talking to them about is keeping the focus. One of the things he told them is you're going into 9th grade, you need to be focused now. And when we think about long-term as a district, our graduation rates and stuff, we know how important 9th grade is. So to hear him explain that to them was very, very impactful, I think. Because it gives the kids a very positive role model, someone they look up to really give them some, like for example, the 8th grade pep talk, he's giving them some really good advice. And so it's not the same as Mr. Torres is always telling us or the teacher's always telling us, it's somebody else also telling us, you know what, you need to be invested in your education, you need to do the right thing. So I think it's a very positive thing for our students.
Carrasco isn't the only Indians pitcher who spent some of his time off the mound at CMSD schools. Trevor Bauer visited Max Hayes High School to see how students are using technology in their classrooms every day. The drone enthusiast shared some advice with the scholars, but also said he learned a lot from them. Hear why he calls the school unbelievable. He represents Believe Land on the mound, but Trevor Bauer can't believe what's happening at Max Hayes.
Unbelievable. It's a really cool experience to see what the kids are exposed to and what's available to them, and kind of the emphasis on technology-based career paths is really spectacular.
So spectacular, in fact, Bauer wished he was a student at Max Hayes. He said the high school has more equipment than his engineering program offered at UCLA.
I would have loved to go to a high school like this. It would have been awesome for me.
But he settled for an awesome tour of the school led by student ambassadors who detailed the hands-on 21st century learning opportunities at Max Hayes, like welding, auto repair, and robotics.
I felt really happy just showing them about robotics and telling them about how our school works. And he was pretty much telling us like on things he do, like personally with his drones, and how he really he knew some of our machines and our like manufacturers and stuff. I'm like, it was pretty amazing.
He was very, very down to earth, so I was very pleased with that. But to know that he was able to ask the students a lot of questions, the fact that he plays in Cleveland, the fact that he wanted to do something with Cleveland schools, I mean, you can't really beat that.
Most teams in the American League would agree. It's been tough to beat Trevor Bauer and the Cleveland Indians lately, but under those bright lights, Bauer knows he's setting an example for kids in the community on and off the mound, and it hits home for the pitcher.
A lot of kids grow up, I know, wanting to be athletes, and the odds aren't in their favor, but I don't ever want to tell someone they can't do something, because plenty of people told me I wouldn't be an athlete and stay in school and all the different cliches, right? But I'd like to give the kids the message that they can try to achieve their goals athletically and still have this stuff as a background and still prepare themselves in case athletics doesn't work out to be able to have a career. And if athletics does work out, they can still enjoy doing a lot of this stuff like I do. I'd like to be a positive influence on the kids.
It's safe to say he's already hit that one out of the park.
I'm just proud to be a Laker.
Bauer left the school wearing his new Max Hayes Lakers hat, and some students had the chance to see him and his teammates again in person, but this time on the Indians' turf, literally on Progressive Field, when hundreds of CMSD students and educators had the honor of carrying out and presenting the American flag at postseason games. Check out all of these behind-the-scenes highlights, including their big moment right on the field. The Cleveland Indians aren't the only ones who run onto Progressive Field and get the fans on their feet. I'm talking about that giant flag you've seen unfurled for the national anthem at all of the big postseason games here. The crowd loves it, but ever wonder who has the honor of carrying it out onto the field? Well, for Game 1 of the ALDS, ALCS, and the World Series, it was nearly 200 CMSD students and educators. And I was there with the group every step of the way as they practiced and then presented that flag at the ALCS. And that flag is the size of a football field. It is very heavy, but they all rallied together and hit it out of the park. Check it out. They were out at the old ball game as the rest of the crowd waited to get in. Students received Respect Cleveland t-shirts, enjoyed Cracker Jacks, and hoped they would come back. Then, about an hour before first pitch, it was time to meet the biggest star of the game, the 150 by 300 foot flag, weighing in at 1,100 pounds. It comes in 14 pieces and takes a few hundred hands to handle its broad stripes and bright stars.
All right, we're all ready to go. Here we go.
And finally, their grand entrance under the bright lights, spanning the entire outfield, looking out at the crowd and waiting for the national anthem to begin.
Close to the players, like a few feet away from them, holding the flag while the lights were shining and all that stuff. It was really a great experience.
You could feel the excitement in the air. It was really cool.
It felt amazing. It was like an experience that no one else has felt.
Being able to show our love for like America by holding the flag was really cool, and I really appreciated it.
The flag presentation is part of the national broadcast, so all of our students and educators were on TV. Plus, they got to watch batting practice, and of course, they had the best view in Progressive Field for all of those pregame festivities. Reporting from Progressive Field, Shannon Cantner, CMSD TV. That's all the time we have. Thanks so much for tuning in, and for more programs like this, you can visit the CMSD News Bureau website at clevelandmetroschools.org/news. We'll see you next time, and we'll rally together next year.